Hello everybody and welcome. Lisa Tully here from Spiritual Quest Adventures. Today I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce you to my friend Sheri. As you know, in December we're running our trip to Bhutan. Well, as this is the first time we've actually taken a group to Bhutan, what we're doing is we're collaborating with my dear friend Sheri, as she's run many trips to Bhutan before and she's our Bhutan expert. So today I thought we'd take the opportunity to ask Sheri a couple of questions and to give you the chance to get to know Sheri and myself a little bit better, as well as learning more about sacred Bhutan. Hi Sheri and welcome.
Hi, Lisa. I am so excited to be here with you, and I'm even more excited about the trip to Bhutan. What can I say? It's one of my favorite places on earth.
Wonderful, Sheri, and that leads me straight into the first question that I have for you, is if you could please share a little bit about yourself, your background and your experiences.
Well, I'll tell everyone a little bit about me. I have an interesting background. I used to practice medicine. I was a podiatrist. I live in the United States, and I did that for 16 years. And I sold my practice in 1999 to do my heart's desire. I mean, I love working with people and being with people, but not under that kind of environment. So my friends tease me. They say I used to work with souls, and now I work with souls. So it's a play on the word, on a foot doctor. So it's kind of funny. But when I left medicine, I studied for 8 years with Don Miguel Ruiz, who's a New York Times bestselling author of The Four Agreements, which many people have read. And while I was studying with him, I also ran his business for 2 years, and he did many, many spiritual journeys and retreats worldwide. And that's how I got into the business in the first place. So it was really on-the-job training, and we went all over the place. And it just so hooked me, Lisa. I was so into travel. And I loved travel even before that because I would travel, 3 times a year anyways when I was practicing medicine. But I just love the spiritual sites, and I love to introduce people to the different energies and spiritual traditions of these very special sites. So when I went out on my own, one of the places I had on my bucket list was Bhutan. And so I ran my first trip there in 2008, and I was literally smitten by the place because it's been a closed country for years, Lisa. They didn't open it up really until the 70s. And then there was only maybe 1,000 people or so that they let into the country in the beginning, and it's gone up slightly since. So the only way you can go into Bhutan is with a guide. You cannot go on your own. You can't book a flight there. It doesn't work that way. They have very strict rules about who comes in and the pricing of the country. They keep the pricing really high because their idea is to keep the people who might destroy the cultural aspects of their country. It's just their philosophy, good, bad, or otherwise. It's how they feel. And so it is costly to go to Bhutan, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, worth every penny.
Wonderful, Sheri. And next I would love you to maybe explain to us a little bit about what opportunities we'll have during this trip to interact with these incredible people from Bhutan.
We try our best to have as much interaction with them as possible. I mean, they're very quiet people, and they do their own thing. So we're definitely going to have a ceremony with a lama who's going to do an official blessing ceremony, which is very, very interesting. We're going to learn the Guru Rinpoche's mantra, and we're going to use that throughout the trip. And so when at the end of the trip, we go to Tiger's Nest, which is that, most people have seen that picture with that beautiful temple that's kind of stuck on the side of the mountain. We're going to do a pilgrimage up there at the very end of the trip, so we'll be acclimatized by then to the altitude. And as we go up, we're going to be saying the Guru's mantra and then be doing that in one of the rooms up in the temples there. And it's just a very powerful experience to end the trip with. So we will be meeting people along the way and just have an opportunity to be in the presence of these really gentle people.
So with all this incredible culture and religion combined, what would you say are the key learnings that people will come home with from a trip like this to Bhutan?
Well, for me, it's a very powerful experience because although, we are traveling around a bit, it's a time to go very deep within and reflect on your life because you're really seeing a totally different way of living. I mean, their whole thing is about happiness. As the Dalai Lama talks about, is just being happy. And what that means, because it's not a wealthy country. The people are basically what we would call poor, but they're not poor in spirit. So here in the West, especially in the US, where so many people are antidepressants and really unhappy, even though they have so much, these people have very little and they're very happy. And they love their traditions. They're content in a way that we're not. And you see that everywhere you go. And it's very, very powerful. It really makes you think about your own life and why do you feel the way that you feel about your life? What's stopping you from accomplishing everything that you want to accomplish? What about your relationships is not delicious? What are you pursuing in your life that isn't your highest passion and purpose? So we're going to weave some of the Buddhist teachings into the trip. I mean, I'll probably share some things about the Eightfold Buddhist Path, and you're going to be sharing some really delicious things too. And we're going to look at these teachings not from an intellectual point of view, but really to ground them into our life in a deep way. How can we take these teachings and take them home with us and actually practice them? What does it mean to observe what we're observing in this country? It's not about looking and then coming home and going on with your life. No, it's about deep transformation and being able to take what revelations have come to you and then apply them when you get home. And for me, that's the deepest part of a spiritual journey, to be able to look within. It's like traveling very, very far away to go very, very deep inside.
Sheri, could you now explain to us why you chose for us to run this tour in the month of December?
I'm picking this time of year for a very specific reason. Like, I know a lot of people say to me, well, why aren't we going in October, which supposedly is the best time of year to go? And there's a few reasons for that. First of all, the largest amount of tourism is during that time. So it is very busy. I mean, as busy as that country can be with the limited amount of people that they're allowing in, but the resources are very limited there. So they have limited hotel rooms and such. So I'm moving us out of that high tourist time. And also I'm bringing us there during the time when the black cranes are going to be nesting in one of the sacred valleys. And those black neck cranes are a symbol of peace for the Bhutanese. It's like their bird, and it's very sacred. So we're going to stay in that beautiful valley there in the Black Mountains National Park, and it's just going to be stunning. And I've also slowed the trip down because the first time I went there, we really tried to see everything, and there wasn't enough time to sink deep into ourselves. So we're going to have that opportunity. We're going to have an opportunity, as I said, to have a prayer ceremony, to go to a festival where you're going to see them dancing and with all the beautiful face masks, and that's really lovely. And we're also, as I said, going to take that wonderful pilgrimage, and we're going to stay at the end of the trip at an amazing 5-star hotel, which, some people say, well, why did you do that, Sheri? And believe me when I tell you that you are going to love that experience at the end of the trip.
Sheri, as our final question, is there anything else that you would like to share with us about this country or its culture?
In Bhutan, they have a national uniform, so people don't wear jeans. They wear the national uniform. I mean, they really want to keep their culture alive. It's very important to them. They believe in gross national happiness. It's not that they don't believe in gross national product, but the happiness of their people is primary. So much so that the king of Bhutan decided that having a monarchy in the country was not keeping up to date, and he instituted a democratic aspect. So it's sort of like moving the monarchy out, kind of making it more, let's say, like England. So you can vote and, you know, more of that kind of system. And that's amazing for a king to give that absolute power up to the people. I mean, they are very forward thinking, and it's just absolutely fantastic. But if I could just impress anything on the listeners today, it's that the pristine aspect of Bhutan, it's like Nepal or that kind of country without all the tourists. You will never forget this trip. It is worth every penny. If you could get away and make this trip happen in any way, shape, or form, I highly recommend it because it will change your life.
Sheri, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us all today. It's really an incredible trip. I'm so excited. And for you guys that are out there watching today, just be reassured that when you sign up for this trip to Bhutan, myself and Sheri were there to lead you and take great care of you in that sacred kingdom in the Himalayas. If you want to learn full details about this tour, simply click on this link below this video. And we will see you in person in Bhutan this December. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.